Alcorn. My mistake. With that being said, do see that we have Coach Maynor with us, and we will begin. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, we went to Vanderbilt SEC program. I thought the guys played hard. We didn't quit. We was in the game there for a good while. Halftime score was 12-3, and I thought the defense was playing great. Offense, we opened up with a 19 or 20 play drive, and we would love to have got 7 out of it, but we only got 3 out of it. Um, and then the second half, they scored an open possession, make it 19-3, and then we came back and scored and made it 19-10. And so we went for a fight, win the ball game, and uh, then they just kind of wore us down there. Uh, End of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, uh, start leaning on us a little bit and kind of wore us down. So, we didn't quit. We scored our last possession. Uh, we drove it down. And we had a fourth and like 5, and had the decision to make if I'm gonna go for it or I'm gonna kick a field goal. And I decided to kick the field goal, give our kicker another opportunity in the game uh, where we may need him down the road. We If we go for it there and get it, don't change the outcome of the game. So I just want to get our kicker uh, some more experience kicking live in the game, uh, and he nailed it. So and then our upcoming opponent, Lane, a very good Division II opponent. Uh, Pine Bluff just barely beat them last year. They beat Tennessee State last year, and they didn't get off to a great start this year. But we expect them to give us their all. They're gonna come down here trying to get a win, so we got to be prepared. And we will be. You probably gonna make the most first game to the second game, so we look forward to doing that. And most of the mistakes that we made was correctable. So we'll get those things corrected, and we'll work on A&M and be ready to go Saturday.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Maynard. We'll now open up the floor for questions. First question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach Maynard. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports, and it's great to see you again this morning. My question goes to essentially what you alluded to, that Vanderbilt wore you down. So on the positive side, being able to hang with and play with an SEC team, uh, did you see a lot of positives with that? And you just may have not just had the big guys up front to maintain your quarterback and your skill players. Do you see that as one of the things that would really truly benefit
Yeah,
A&M?
I do. Not to take anything away from Vanderbilt. Their coach has done a great job in a short period of time, and they are an SEC program. But we had our opportunities, and we fought, and we had 7 drop passes. And defensively, we had some blown assignments and didn't keep contained a couple of times. So we do the little things, which we did the first half, the first 2.5 quarters. We did the little things and played the way we can play. We was very competitive. Then we made some mistakes and self-inflicted wounds, and then they kind of just leaned on us with their. Of course, they got 85 scholarships, and they kind of just wore us down there late in that football game. But yeah, I was pleased with a lot of things, a lot of positive that we showed in that game Saturday. So we just got to continue to work and continue to get better.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody at A&M are well. Talk about Xavier Langford, 11 of 22 for 105 and 1. You obviously know the quarterback position, but when you look at what he's doing, what are you seeing so far?
Well, he's playing well. He understands the offense, and he can get us in and out of the best plays. Uh, it's just consistency with Xavier Langford. If he's consistent, like I said, we won a 20 play drive. The first drive, man, went right down the field on the SEC program, and we come punching in for the touchdown, but we got a field goal. It's because Xavier uses legs on about 2 or 3 of those plays, and then he uses arm on others. And when he plays like that, he plays lights out. I mean, but that's what we get from it. We can get an all conference quarterback, and then we can come back and get like, what was that, X? What was you doing? I mean, so we just got to get him to be more consistent. If he plays consistent, we have a chance to win every game that we play.
Coach Maynor, when you look at your first quarter and the third quarter, very competitive. You were right there. Just talk about the takeaways and then moving into Lane College.
Yeah, we was right there. Like I said, we drove the ball down. We stopped them. We scored. We did have a block punt, but the punter took 5 steps, and that was his first punt. And I think he thought we were still in practice, and he was taking his time reading the labels, and they blocked it and got 2 points out of it. But the guys competed. The guys completed. The O-line blocked well. The running backs ran hard. The defensive guys gave great effort, ran to the football. We was right there. We was right there. But at the end of the day, we didn't do it long enough, and that's what happens.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Yes, sir. You too.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach, man. I hope you're doing well. Kind of similar to the last question about Xavier Langford's performance. I know you plan to play 2 quarterbacks against Vanderbilt. Would you say that Langford kind of has the edge in terms of being the full-time starter for the rest of the year?
Yeah. Well, we're going to start Xavier again. He didn't do anything to lose the starting job, and Quad, Mr. Brown, didn't do anything to take the starting job. So Xavier will probably start again this week, and we may see Quad, we may not. Depends on how Xavier plays. But Xavier didn't do anything to give it away. Quad didn't do anything to take it. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody to step forward and take control of the position. And X played well. He played well enough for us to stay in the game and compete as long as we did.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, what are some of the things that you saw from Lane on the film against Miles that may stand out to you that you and your staff are going to have to really crunch down on for this week?
Well, they do a lot of good things, Mo, in the run game and the pass game, and offensively. But we're going to focus on A&M. We got to get our act cleaned up. We got to take care of business up front. Our receivers, we got to hold on to the ball. Quarterbacks got to make a little bit better decisions. Defensively, we got to do our job, play the defense call a little bit better. And we'll be fine, no matter if it's Lane, Southern, or Grambling, or Jackson, or whoever it is. It don't matter. We got to take care of A&M, and that's what we're going to focus on this week.
And, Coach, the home opener is on Saturday, Louis Cruz Classic. You've played under some great coaches, coached with some great men, and now this game will represent and signify the legacy of one of the great coaches in Alabama A&M's history. Can you kind of talk about the fact of playing the opportunity of playing in the Louis Cruz Classic and what it stands for?
Yeah, it's a great classic. Coach Cruz, the all-time winningest coach here. Coach here for 15 seasons, did a tremendous job, and he loved his job. He loved the players, and it's a great honor. He was a trailblazer, and I get to come behind him and coach after him, and he set the table. Then actually, we're doing a lot this year to bring it back to more like a classic, the Louis Cruz Classic, and we're doing a lot of things to bring some ex-players back to play for him. We have a coach's breakfast Thursday morning where they can come and sit down and talk to me and ask me questions. I'll be the guest speaker. So we're doing a lot of things. We're going to bring those guys back at the Bulldog Walk. If they can walk with us. If they can't, they're going to stay at the end until we get there. So we're involving those guys that played with Coach Cruz or coach with him. And so it's a big deal for us. It's a big deal. He's done a tremendous job, and it's an honor for me to coach here and to be coaching the Louis Cruz Classic.
All right, thanks, Coach. See you at the breakfast this week.
Yes, sir, Mo.
Last question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning, Doc.
I wanted to ask you about Mr. Gardner, the wide receiver, senior, 160 pounds from Birmingham, Alabama. Gave you 3 receptions, 83 yards. 1 touchdown, 27.7 average. Last year, he just caught for 292. What are your thoughts, and where can he go the rest of the season?
Don't forget about his 2 drops.
Yeah, we got to make sure we announce that as well.
Yeah, don't forget about his 2 drops. That's all I remember. I remember the 2 drops. I don't remember anything else. But no, he's a great kid. He has a lot of speed, a lot of heart. He plays hard, and we was fortunate to be able to get him back for another year, and he stepped it up so far. And we need him to continue to play that way, continue to be a deep threat for us, and continue to lead that receiving group. He's done a tremendous job so far in the summer and in the spring, and so far in the fall. So look forward for him to continue to play that way.
Thank you, Coach Maynor. I'll make sure I catch up with those drops. I know you're going to cook him up, so there'll be less as the week season goes on.
It better be his last drops.
I understand. I hate to see practice.
Yes, sir.
Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, and congratulations to all the coaches on the call in the SWAC that won this week.
Next up, we go to Alabama State and head coach Eddie Robinson. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping last week and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, playing at home in Montgomery. I had a Labor Day Classic game against Southern. Coach Dooley came out, had his team prepared, ready to go. They drove down the field, scored early, got a 10 or 12 play drive. And I thought Blood did a really good job. You know, he's a quarterback, older guy, but hadn't had a lot of reps, so we didn't know exactly what to expect out of him. Defense was kind of settling in, so game kind of went back and forth. We was able to tie the game up at 7, and then they got a field goal. We missed a couple field goals, and we were able to get a score later on in the game with Keyshawn Johnson, and put us up 14-10. And the game kind of went back and forth, but it was a great atmosphere, great SWAC contest. Think Southern always travels well, so it was well attended. The bands were there, so just a real enjoyable weekend. We were just able to make a couple plays at the end. Still have a lot to correct. I'm sure Coach Southern and Dooley is expecting that. Hey, they had some plays that they could have hit us on that we weren't aligned right, and some of them just ran by. So we was fortunate to get out of there. The defense kind of settled down towards the end of the game, but early on it was definitely a nip and tuck game. So. Just fortunate to get to a W, and this week we play Miles College at home, a team that 2 years ago took us to overtime. Last year went to the last series, so I don't have to sell the guys on what they bring to the table. Coach Shea to do a great job of getting them ready to play, so we definitely have to step up to the intensity that they're gonna bring to it. They're coming to Montgomery expecting that they can win the game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Robinson. Will now open up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Robinson.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm doing well. I wanted to focus a little bit about the defense that you mentioned that really played well. Mikey Victor, 6'3", cornerback, got his hands on the ball, was able to get an interception, but to hold the Southern offense to 10 points, I know it's early in the season, that seems pretty significant. Looks like your defense kind of picked up where it left off last year. How did you grade your defense, and what things do you want them to continue to do as they move forward throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the defense put up a great effort. We got a couple of turnovers, 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. So that was pretty much the turning point in the game. We were able to get 4 turnovers, and we didn't turn the ball over. So I think anybody knows, coaches, staff, media, you +4 in the turnover column, you have a great chance to win. So I thought that was a deciding factor. So I'm kind of like Coach Maynor. I'm still thinking about the guys that were running through the middle of the defense and the shots that could have beat us. So I'm still looking at how we could make some corrections. So I thought we was fortunate. We played a really good defensive game, a lot of effort, and that's the biggest thing. These kids played extremely hard. Defensive line played extremely hard, had 2 sacks. But in the end of the day, I think we still have a long way to go to be a really good defense.
And I know y'all put on your coach's hat. Y'all always looking the other side. I get it. Second follow-up quick question. I did want to ask you about the matchup against Miles. When we think about the rivalries in Alabama, obviously Magic City Classic, Alabama A&M, then the Turkey State Classic with Tuskegee. Can you talk a little bit about how this is reviewed in terms of a rivalry with Miles, the Golden Bears?
I mean, I think so because a lot of these kids they played against each other in high school. You know, a lot of those kids from Miles are local kids, Birmingham area, some from the Montgomery area. They had one of their starting guys in their secondary who started for us the last 2 years. So it's a lot of similarities. You know, I know Sam Shade from playing against him in the NFL. His mom went to Alabama State, so it's really a true rivalry. I think it's really getting to that point, and they're playing as nip and tuck. So I think it's one of those things where they feel like they play us enough times they're going to beat us. So we have to really rise to that occasion. You know, they bring their band down. They have a great band. Our band is pretty good also. Love what we do with the Mighty Marching Hornets. So it's going to be a good competition. And so I think it'll be another really good HBCU weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Robinson, I hope you and everybody in Montgomery are well. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, Mr. Demetrius Davis, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. He scored in the first and in the third. What did you see in that gentleman?
I think the biggest thing is he's still getting to the point where he managed the game really well, and he made some plays. You know, of course, he can do a lot with his feet, but we want to get him into the point where he can stay in the pocket and make those throws down the field. He had some opportunities that we missed on, but at the same time, you know, he controlled the game, controlled the tempo of the game, stayed under control, kept his composure. Those are the biggest things. He let his receivers get the run after catch, and I thought that was big. You know, the running game kind of we had some opportunities in the run game, but Southern defense did a good job of stepping forward. We couldn't just run the ball like we really wanted to. But overall, he got no turnovers. So I think that was the part that I liked about it. He protected the football, no fumbles, no interceptions. So to me, penalty-free game, big with the turnovers. That's how we won the game. I think if I would say how we could improve, we weren't very good in the red zone. We missed 2 field goals, and we had some opportunities where we didn't score. So we know that's where we have to improve at.
They're very competitive. What would you like to see in that game?
I mean, for us, we just have to get out there and play a good, complete game. So I don't think it's so much about Miles; it's more about Alabama State. So we're playing against ourselves. We have to come out there, protect the football, create the turnovers, play error-free football from the quarterback position to special teams, everything. So it's early in the year to say you want to have a complete game, but of course that's what we're striving to have. So if we go out there and play hard and play the way we're supposed to, I think we have a great chance to win the game. But we know that they're not going to lay down. They're going to come forward to give us their best effort. Like I said, they expect to win the football game. So you're playing a good competitive team.
Have a blessed week, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. I was at that game on Saturday night. Great game. And my question is, what did you see from Southern that allowed your defense to settle down and dig in to say, okay, enough's enough, where you actually was able to take it to Southern and win that game, especially on defense?
Yeah, I think Coach Middleton, defensive line coach, his first year here with the program, I think he just has all of those guys just bought in. I think the defensive line was the difference. I mean, in that third and fourth quarter, they was able to get a pass rush. We didn't have to blitz as much, so we could put more guys in coverage. And we played about 12 or 13 guys. And I think when you have that many guys on the D-line that can play, everybody, you can go 10 or 12 plays, and that's your 10 or 12 great plays. And I think offensively, we had some long drives where they were able to get the defense off the field. I think, ball control is still real big. You got to be able to control the ball. Of course, there's not as many plays with the clock moving, so we'll see how that affects it. So when you're playing teams that want to go tempo, want to go fast, we want it to be, I mean, I hate to say it, but old school football. We want to be physical, downhill, nasty. That's how we want to play. And so that's how the defense kind of got it going in that third and fourth quarter.
Well, you sure really did it in that game against Southern. Much success to you in the future games that you got coming up. Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. I hope you're doing well after the win against Southern. I do want to ask again about Demetrius there. So I understand that, you talked a little on Saturday. You don't want to make him a pure pocket passer. And Davis knows that he has to continue developing. I know you can't really develop during the season, but what does his progression look like, as he continues to go through each game?
I mean, I think he's right on pace. I think he's a kid that, you have to get him out the pocket. And I always tell kids, just think about it. If you were the defensive coordinator and you were playing Demetrius Davis, what would you do? And so I think one of those things you would try to make him stay in the pocket, make him a pocket passer. So I'm like, hey, don't help them out. Get out the pocket. You see chances, run the football. I thought Blood did a great job of that early in the game. Sometimes we had everybody covered. He takes off and runs and gets the first down. So we want Demetrius on that same schedule. Hey, look for your read one, read two. If you can run and get a first down, we're trying to get first downs. My thing with players is don't try to be great, just be consistently good. Consistently good equals great. And so if I can get him to be consistently good, then he'll end up being a great player by the end of the year.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Last question goes to Henry. Henry, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning.
All right, Coach. We saw that special teams were kind of a problem. You missed 2 field goals that probably would have stretched the lead out. How do you reinstill that confidence in your kicker to so you can rely on them later on down the road?
Yeah, man, Jaden John, I think his first kick was in the Magic City Classic, was like a 48-yarder or something. And this is his first 2 kicks that he missed. Any other kick that he missed last year was a block or something like that. So, he's a confident kid, really laid back kid from Miami Central High School, a winning program. He's kicked in state championship games. So I think he'll be okay. We'll make it a little bit more pressure and intense during the week of practice. And we do have a freshman kicker who provides him some good competition, but I think he'll be okay. We understand why he missed it, and that's the biggest thing. He didn't make any excuses about it. So the only thing you have to do is go out there and make the next one.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Coach Robinson, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Next up, we go to Alcorn State. Head coach Fred McNair. Happy to be joined by Coach Fred McNair with Alcorn State. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping this past week's action and previewing your upcoming opponent.
It was tough outing down at the Rock down in Hattiesburg. I got a chance to go in and play a real good FBS football program. Will Hall had those guys ready to play. Unfortunately, we came out on the losing edge of it. Saw some positive things in the course of the game that we're really good at. We just got to get better at some of the things we didn't do so good at. The upcoming team is Stephen F. Austin. We've got to go to Nacogdoches, Texas, and play those guys. A real good football program. Got some good skilled guys on the outside that's going to play. Quarterback going to get in the ball in open space. So we just got to be able to contain that. Got a real good defense. A little bit better than what it was last year. Got a good up front guys that's going to play hard. Linebackers going to play tough. So we just got to be prepared to play a good program. We played them last year, had them up at halftime, and they come back and beat us in the fourth quarter there. So real good football program. Just got to go and be ready to play.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach McNair. We'll open up for questions. First question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach McNair. I understand it was not the result that you wanted. Talk to me about Tyler Macon. It was his first game in an Alcorn uniform. What did you kind of see from him in his first game action?
I think just coming to his first game, being the start of the first game, I saw some good positive stuff that he did. He had a 75-yard touchdown run for a touchdown, so I thought that was good. Against a good stiff defense up front. Was able to get out and stretch it out and just outrun everybody. I just try to find some consistency in his passing game. That's what we're going to work towards this whole week. Getting throw the ball to guys in space and making sure we're getting the right concept and stuff that he can make completions towards. But he's going to be a really good quarterback for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody on the reservation are well. When you think about Braves football and moving forward, just talk a little bit about another opportunity to go out on the road and play another team and get one.
Well, it's always a challenge for us, and put out brave type of football on the football field. Going to Texas is gonna be tough. Going against a real good team. I think overall they pretty good. Got a good special team group. That's gonna come after the football when we kick it and punt it. Returning wise, they does a real good job. So had a real good close game against Troy. I thought it was very close in that aspect of it. Troy came out and they did some things that that kind of got them off balance a little bit in terms of running and passing game. So hopefully we can do the same thing with our offense and defense play extremely hard as they've been playing up until this first ball game. So it's going to be very challenging. We got a lot of work to do this week. I think the kids, they're up for the challenge again this week. Give us another measuring cup to see where we're at in terms of being ready for the conference.
Coach, the third downs, the defensive side of the football, getting stops and just continuing to compete. Just talk a little bit about your defense and what you want to see going forward.
The biggest thing, I think we kind of handicapped ourselves a lot of time on third down. We got a chance to get off the field on third downs a couple of times, and we had a couple of personal fouls on the quarterback. We had a hand to the face, got a chance to get off the field. So we got the field pretty good. They were 4-13 on third down, and that's big. And, of course, they was 2 for 2 on fourth down, which is not good either. So the fourth down situation, getting off the field, that means a lot. It could have been a whole lot better than that. Had not been those personal fouls that we got. On the other side of the ball on third down, we got to convert third down. We got to be able to control the ball a little bit. We got to get first down, get the defense a chance to rest a little bit from that aspect of it. But we got to do better on third downs on the offense side of the ball.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week and a nice trip to Texas.
I appreciate you.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm sorry, good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Even though you did indicate a lot of the things on the defense that you did need to improve, but what positives can you take from what you did in this game?
I think the biggest thing is their running game was not effective. I think the defense kind of shut down their running game, was able to make them pass more on the perimeter, in which they did. But the defense played really solid against Frank Gore, which they knew they was going to try to stop him, which he's a good running back. They got a good up front offensive line. They're able to rush the ball, but the defense did a great job of stopping the rush. And that was big for us. So anytime you can do that, to kind of hold a guy down, but, they did some stuff on the outside of the perimeter to kind of give us a hiccup a little bit. But other than that, I think they played an extremely hard ball game. Got to play a better ball game this week.
Yes, that is true, because that top rusher, he was only able to gain 54 yards. So as usual, the defense did do a pretty decent job. So much success in the upcoming games, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach McNair, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, sir.
Wanted to follow up in terms of your thoughts of your rushing game. Juwan Howard, Duffy, in terms of how did they do in this matchup? Not a lot of big yards, but ran really hard. Duffy did get in the end zone for you, along with Macon being able to add to that rushing game with that big play that he had. What are your thoughts in terms of your line play to be able to get some avenues and get the rushing game going?
I think we left a lot out there. And I looked at the film yesterday and I saw a lot of things that we could have did better in terms of our interior guys, the front five at least. Missed blocks and missed on the pullers, and a lot of stuff that we normally don't do during the course of the week. I think we had a good week of practice prior to the game on Saturday. Got to get those guys to get the head up, get the eyes to their keys, and make those blocks for us. We got to reestablish the line of scrimmage as well. So we got to come off the ball and not get stalemated. We got to move people backwards. In terms of that, I think Coach Ratton, he'll get that corrected this week. In terms of, we got a big defensive front coming up in Stephen F. Austin as well. So they're gonna be ready to play. They got some big guys up front. They're gonna play the barrel defense. They're gonna come after you pretty good. So just watch a little film on them this morning. I think there's some things that we gotta really, really, really stop in terms of what they're gonna do defensively.
Follow-up question is talking about this matchup against Stephen F. Austin. Obviously, you come to Texas for your SWAC matchups and had some good level of success over the last couple of years. This is unique in terms of this matchup because the team you faced last year at home, but also this is a team that played the F program like yourself. So in terms of watching the film, do you watch the film in terms of picking up things at the FBS level different than when you're having either a conference or FCS matchup?
I think you watch it the same, but you just got bigger, stronger, faster guys on the FBS level. In terms of defense and what you're gonna get. Some of the schemes are different in terms of what we look at from an FCS standpoint. They do a lot of other stuff and try to create matchups in terms of what they do offensively. Defensive wise, it's gonna pin the ears back and come. So we don't see a lot of things on defense, a lot of type of defensive schemes that people don't throw at us. And there's nothing that we haven't seen that they're gonna throw at us. So we just got to be prepared to take the task on the hand and make the plays when we can.
Certainly. Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this week.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Mason Smith.
Coach, a quick follow-up about Jarvian Howard. Obviously, he had a great year last year. Only was able to gain 47 yards against Southern Miss. What did you kind of see from him? I know you mentioned the line play, and how did he kind of bounce back against Stephen F. Austin to have a great year?
Well, the biggest thing is I think you got to trust the line sometimes, and not be so quick to get out of it. Just kind of stay in there and run through it. A lot of times you try to bounce a bit outside a little bit, and I think Southern Miss did a great job of backdooring the backers to the backside cutoff in terms of what we were trying to do or we were trying to get to. But I think he's going to be good throughout the rest of the year. I mean, it's just the amount of things that we had to just correct in him in terms of his eyes and everything like that. I think he's trying to do too much right now instead of just letting the game come towards him, which he'll be corrected during the course of the week.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you, guys.
Next up, we go to Bethune-Cookman, head coach Raymond Woodie. You see that we have Coach with us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping this past weekend and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Well, I tell you what, I was excited to finally get a chance to see, the football team as to play against another opponent other than ourselves, with numerous players that we had from spring to the fall. It was good to see those guys go out and fight against a big-time program.
And Coach, if you could please give us a preview of your upcoming matchup this weekend.
Yeah, Savannah State. I mean, obviously they're 1-0. They beat Southeastern last week. Quarterback is a really good football player. He threw for almost 700 yards last year. They got a lot of skilled guys, flying around the ball. I mean, it's going to be a really good contest for our guys, coming in Saturday.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions. First question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Like you said, it's always good for your team to finally get out there and hit another team head to head and finally get those pads to clicking against somebody else. What did you see finally getting a chance to see your players get out there and hit those pads against another team? What positive were you able to glean from this, from the game on offense and defense?
We had one, turnover, and obviously, we that's not a positive because we don't want to have no turnovers. But just going in the game, I think up front as a whole, we did better than was expected as far as having all new guys up front, gelling together. It wasn't a whole lot of missed assignments. Now that we get pushed around. I mean, obviously, I think they held their own, but going against a big team with NFL prospects, man, I thought those guys held their own. And then quarterback that we went with, Walt, he didn't have any turnovers, and I just think, with that being said, as a team, 7 penalties, I mean, that's not a lot, but obviously we don't want any. But I think this team's starting to come along and be a disciplined football team. And then on defense, we had 3 takeaways. Our 2 touchdowns was off defense. So On the flip side, we saw some things from some of our players, that in big time situations, they stepped up. And I always say, those lights strange things to people. And some of our guys that we thought had a really good spring and summer stepped it up, like Amari Jones on defense. We had Nick Brown on defense as a freshman. So we had several guys that we saw first year that stepped up.
Good, yes, because as you said, with those 2 interceptions, you were able to get a takeaway from them as well as also a fumble. So those were great for the defense. So much success for the upcoming games that you have, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona and the Wildcats Nation are well. Take us back to that first quarter when Amari gets the pick six, runs it back. You're in the game. It's only 10-7, but take us back to that point. And at that point, it was extremely competitive.
Oh, yes. I mean, the guys, with those series of events, that happen, the guys started to get confidence. And one thing about it, you saw the positive energy on the sideline, and you can't just play one quarter and, just trying to teach these guys that, we have to finish strong. But like I say, it was 10-7 at the end of the first quarter, and there was a lot of juice. It was a lot of excitement around because, at the end of the day, you play the game, and I just thought that night Memphis was better than us.
Coach, Saturday, Savannah comes down to Municipal Stadium, and you get an opportunity to see a team that you guys used to play against a lot. But just talk about an opportunity to play one at home, and the fans will come out and they'll hear the marching band, and it should be a good day of football.
Yeah, it's going to be huge, with tradition, with the things that they do on game day. Obviously, it's exciting for me because I'm new as well. And just to get this team back home, I mean, we didn't have only but one, injury. I don't know if it's major, but I mean, nothing like your home. And, these players, they're waiting to see the support, of the alumni and their family and their friends, obviously in our home stadium. So it's really exciting. And Savannah's going to come in, ready to go. I mean, they got a lot of athletes flying around, and, obviously they got better. Because last time they played Southeastern, they didn't win, and they ended up winning towards the latter part of the game, and it just shows how much improved and experienced those guys are.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach. I hope the day is treating you well so far. I wanted to ask you about the quarterbacks. Obviously, Walter Simmons had the statistically better game compared to Luke, but where are you kind of seeing between those two guys, and who may have the inside track going forward?
Well, Walt is, obviously, he's a guy that he makes a lot of plays, with his feet, and obviously we were not as, how can I say, we didn't open up the playbook, obviously with him, we wanted to get him in a position where he's getting confidence, and Luke is more of a, passer. So Walt is the guy, and he's going to get better and better. And like I said, we're always going to keep it competitive, and I'm not against, having two quarterbacks, but right now Walt is the guy coming into this week, and we're going to keep it competitive.
Kind of following up about the same thing with the running back situation. A lot of guys got a chance to get some rushing attempts. What have you kind of seen from the running back room, and how that could improve as the weeks go on?
Well, again, we have, in my opinion, running backs, by committee, Zil Bazil, JoJo from Washington State, he ran really hard. You got Jimmy Robinson, who ran as well. But they're different type of backs, and I just think that in order to be a good offense, a good defense, a good special teams, you have to put guys in position of their skill set, so we're going to have an opportunity to do certain things, and we're going to be able to rotate guys based on their skill set on what we're doing as far as scheme on all aspects of the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Time for one final quick question from Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Woodie, I wanted to ask you about your quarterback play to kind of continue that competition. Overall, the completion rate was not necessary. I mean, the completion rate was 50%, at least for both quarterbacks over there. The total on your third down completions in terms of first down was not where you wanted. And so the yardage was not there, but it looks like in terms of them being able to get into pass plays and quick action, what are your thoughts in terms of what that looks like and mixing it up with the run?
Well, like I said, I can truly say, being conservative and then obviously, on us as coaches, putting those guys in position to make, it more balanced. I do know coming into the game, we knew what we were going to try to do is not turn the ball over. And sometimes, when you do that and you coming in with a inexperienced quarterback or anyone, you want to keep it, really simple. But I do know that what we have planned, pushing further, we're going to open it up because the things that we do, I really feel like, Walt can do. And then obviously, Luke can do as well. May not with Luke do so much of the run game stuff, but I mean, I really think it's going to be a really good balance. But Walt, you can expect us to open it up a little bit more, so we can put the student athlete in a position to be successful and not just plan to not make a mistake.
Exactly, and that was my follow-up against Savannah State. Are there some things that you look at that allows you to open it up a little more, or is that just a natural plan over a series of games that each of the games there'll be added some things that allows them to open up the system and get more into the playbook? So
Yeah, well, it has to be a progression, and then also too, you got to understand your personnel and really know who you're going against, because it starts up front. And like I said, I'm really excited about our guys up front holding up because that was the big key, with going into Memphis. They had like 4 guys, that was NFL prospects who was tough to move.
That's
And
right.
just to see our guys hold their own and obviously, you want to win a game. There's no moral victories in football. But we got to this point, and I just think now it's all about taking the next step and then seeing what your opponent gives you to allow you to do more things. And Memphis is a really good football team. I mean, good basic fundamentals, and that's some of the big points I made with my staff. We got to be better on our basic technique and fundamentals. When you watch film, film don't lie, and I think we're getting where we want to be.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. I look forward to the matchup.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Woodie, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now go to Florida A&M and head coach Willie Simmons. You see we have Coach Simmons with us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping this past weekend's action and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Definitely. Exciting time for our football team. First time in a few years that we've been able to start the season off with the win. And obviously being a conference win, a divisional win was really, really huge. I thought the guys locked in all through our training camp. I thought they understood what was at stake. I thought their mindset going down to Miami was very, very mature. And that's what you expect from a group that has 24 graduates and a bunch of seniors. We do our meal call-ups by classes, and by the time I get to the sophomores, everyone's pretty much eaten already. So there's about 2 sophomores, maybe and a freshman on the trip. Everyone else is graduates and seniors and juniors. So with a veteran team, you expect those guys to be mature and handle themselves appropriately. And started fast, opened the kickoff for a touchdown, obviously gave us a lot of momentum, gave us a lot of confidence, and they carried that all the way through the first half. Obviously very disappointed in how we finished, but had a large enough cushion where the lack of focus, the lack of intensity, and the mental errors didn't hurt us. But we can't rest on that, because against good, moving forward, that it will come back to bite us. And so we definitely got to fix those little things, and then get ready to go and face arguably our toughest challenge of the season against a South Florida football team that played a really, really good West Kentucky team down to the wire this past weekend. So going to play probably the fastest team that we're going to face between the whistles on offense. Play probably the most multiple team that we'll see as far as defensive fronts and looks. And so we got a lot to prepare for in a short week. But again, great feeling to be 1-0 in conference play, and looking forward to getting better and get back on the field this week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, James.
Good. When you talk about the culture and the winning philosophy and the winning mindset and getting it done against Jackson, just talk about continuing to grind it out and build your program, and it's all about W's.
Well, for us, it's all about how we approach every day. We obviously have ultimate team goals, which is to win the Celebration Bowl. Can't do that without winning the SWAC. Can't do that without winning the East. Can't do that without beating your natural rivalry. So, obviously we have our ultimate goals, but our main focus every day is to be where our feet are. And that's to make sure that every opportunity we get to get better, we take advantage of it. Our goal this week is to be 1-0. 1-0 after this weekend, not thinking about winning back-to-back games, not thinking about where we are in the standings, just thinking about this weekend and what we need to do every day to prepare ourselves to play our best ball on Saturday. That's our focus. And so if we keep that mindset, we'll block out the outside noise. We'll be able to keep the main thing, and that's cleaning up the mistakes from last week and figuring out what we need to do to go down there and compete with this football team.
Coach, going into Tampa, Rattlers Nation travels well, but just talk about going in, punching the clock, and just playing another football game and doing what you do.
Well, we're excited about the fact that our fan base can travel down to Tampa Bay. Chance to play in another NFL stadium. That's very exciting for our guys. But again, huge task at hand, huge challenge. But that's why you come to FAMU to play games like this. And so we know it's at stake. We have to be ready to play. We got to get lined up on defense. If we can't get lined up, they're going to gash us. They have a very dynamic quarterback. Ran for over 100 yards last week, threw for over 200. So got to definitely make sure we account for him. And if you can't get lined up, he's gonna beat you up pretty bad. Defensively, our offense versus their defense, obviously we gotta identify the bodies. They move around a lot, moving parts on the back end, on the front end, at the second level. So got to communicate well and make sure we get everyone protected and keep Jeremy upright. So again, great challenge for us, but excited that we're going to have Rattler Nation supporting us as we go down to Tampa this week.
Next
Thank
question,
you, sir.
Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach. I hope everything's well. And Tallahassee, the question I have for you is specifically about, about South Florida. Understanding that's an in-state rival. I understand that, recruiting is not the biggest focus at the moment, but when you're, establishing the reputation of a program, especially in a talent-rich state like Florida, how valuable is it to go down there and compete and possibly win against an in-state rival?
Well, I'll correct you. Recruiting is always the number one focus. We just have to make sure that we do it in the midst of game prep and all the other things we do. But talent acquisition is always at the forefront of our mind. We got to make sure we can field a team that's competitive, and that comes through recruiting. But the chance to go down to Tampa, another hotbed area in recruiting. We'll get coaches out on the road this week to go watch some of the high school games and visit with schools. So we'll prepare. But again, we're also trying to do the part of the program that keeps us sustainable, which is recruit great talent.
And of course, the Orange Blossom Classic has been a conference game for a long time, but the idea of having a conference win under your belt already, as you're still developing and growing as the season goes, how valuable is that to get a conference win so early, knowing you have one under your belt?
Well, what it means is that we can still control our own destiny. And as long as we can keep it that way, we'll be in good shape. So that's the biggest difference this year than the last 2 years. This time, last 2 years, we were playing from behind, and we had to hope some things went well for us to be back in the thick of it. Right now, we control our destiny, and we got to just make sure we continue to prepare and keep it that way.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBC Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Simmons?
Going well.
I bet you it is. With that being said, Marcus Riley, transfer there, 120 yards, 2 attempts long, opening up with the kickoff. Talk about his play, big play, and how much of that was just the energy of the team being really focused going into the game.
Well, I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. One, he has immense talent. He's arguably one of our fastest guys, probably the second fastest on the team. One of the fastest guys in the conference. Very dynamic, very explosive, and we're very blessed to have Marcus here, with us. Hadn't returned kicks very much in his life, but obviously wanted to give him a chance to do that in this last year, and he made the most of it with 2 explosive returns. But he had great blocking. We did a lot of drill work this training camp, more special teams drill work than I've ever seen, but it paid off in a big way. And so obviously got a clean up field goal, but every other phase I thought we played extremely well. So blessed to have guys like Marcus Riley and Jamari Shareed as return men, because obviously they can flip the field very, very quickly.
Follow-up question is about Mr. Brown, quarterback over there for South Florida, obviously playing up FBS, but it is an opportunity to play in this game and see what can get done. He was pretty dynamic in terms of what he was doing, particularly with his feet. He threw the ball 16, 15, and 34, as you know, in terms of total yards. Rushing on 25 carries for 2 touchdowns. How do you prep in terms of the diversity of what he's able to do at the quarterback position?
Well, obviously they do a great job of maximizing his ability as a runner. And so when you play a running quarterback, it goes back to old school triple option football. Somebody's got dive, running back, somebody's got to take quarterback, somebody's got to take pitch, which is those fast receivers out there on the perimeter. So you got to get lined up. You got to play assignment football. And the guy that has a quarterback has a tall task, because you got to tackle a big athlete in space. And so we can consistently do that. I think we'll disrupt their rhythm, but they have a really good scheme. They play really fast. It's definitely going to pose a set of challenges for our defense that we hadn't seen in a long time.
Thank you.
Try to get to 2 more questions here quickly. The first one goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations on a big win. My son is ecstatic. He's been kind of poking the bear here because I'm a grad of Jackson State. So congrats on finally getting that win against J-State. But what did you see in that game, in Jackson State's first game, that you were able to truly exploit? Because normally it's an advantage of being able to play one game because you're ready, but you guys were able to just take it to them. So what were you able to see that you were able to exploit?
Well, the biggest thing for us, obviously we just wanted to play a good brand of football. We scout them just like we scout everyone else. They scouted us. We had the same play callers on both sides. So we did some things differently going into the game that we knew we were going to do. But we really wanted to make sure that we took advantage of every opportunity. We knew that Jason Brown is not a dual threat quarterback. He's a pocket passer, much like Musa. And if you can get him in a rhythm, he can hurt you. So we wanted to really disrupt him with our front 4, mix up the looks for him, take away the free access throws that he had week 1. And that was really the game plan. On the other side of the ball, we were really interested to see how they would adjust to us with the different look that we presented. And we just executed those things. We felt that we'd have a good shot. So for the most part, we did that. Obviously, we got some cleanup work to do, but I thought our guys stuck to the game plan that we gave them.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Last question goes to Henry.
Hey, excuse me. Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Henry. How are you?
Doing well. Coach, you mentioned earlier about how you finished the game. Was that more of just kind of play calling, getting a little bit more conservative, or was it just kind of the guys kind of pull back a little bit, or can you explain that for us?
Well, obviously, I think it's a combination of things. We had a comfortable lead. So obviously, when you're up that big, you don't want to take chances with the ball. And so we really wanted to establish the run. And for the most part, I thought we did that. People will look at the score and say we didn't score the second half. We had 2 blocked field goals, so you take that away. We had a touchdown call back on a holding call that, again, I think half the people saw it might disagree with it. So you take those points off the board. We had the ball on the 3-yard line the last drive of the game and, didn't get aggressive with our play calling, so didn't punch that in. But I think the positive thing to note is that we got the ball back after the turnover with 7.5 minutes left in the game. Jackson State didn't touch the ball again. And so we were able to control the clock and run the clock out running the football. That's growth as a football team. Last year, I don't think we could have done that. We didn't have the ability to run the ball the way we did. And so that's a huge step in the right direction. Obviously, as a perfectionist, I'm always going to take away the things we need to improve upon, as far as just Moose making some throws. He was uncharacteristic and missed some throws that he hadn't missed in a while, wide open guys running down the field. We had some penalties there later, personal fouls and just unsportsmanlikes and things of that nature. And so we cleaned those up. I mean, I think we have the type of offensive explosion that we come to expect here. But whenever you can run for 200 yards against a defense like Jackson and run the ball every play for 7.5 minutes, there's a lot of positives to take away.
All right, Coach, and follow up to that, you mentioned Musa. When we spoke to him at Media Day, he mentioned that this would be his first time actually in the same system for a second year. What are some things that you saw in him in live game action in year two that really encouraged you for the future going forward?
Well, I thought he was on time for the most part. His feet were a lot more comfortable than they were at times last year. His front shoulder still tends to rise up a little bit when he's moving in the pocket. So just got to continue to drill that. I got to call my quarterback guru, KJ Black, to figure out what I got to do with Moose to get that lead shoulder down. But if he can do that, and make those accurate throws over the middle, he can be a very, very dangerous quarterback. And the deep balls he missed, I think just holding it one more second, he's trying to throw it on time and it's full speed. Marcus Riley hadn't practiced a whole lot because of some injuries and things of that nature. So just getting the timing down to know how far to throw the ball for him to go get it. K-Dot obviously had run around a bunch on returns, and so maybe didn't have the leg or that gear to catch up to the couple of deep balls he overthrew him on. So just that timing that those guys need, and not trying to be perfect. When the guy's running wide open, the hardest thing to do is take a little bit off of it, even pull him up. If I got to pull him up and he catches it and he gets 40 and gets caught like K-Dot did later, that's better than an overthrow. You have a 0% chance of completing an overthrow. If you underthrow him, maybe he catches and scores, maybe he gets walked down at the 5. But either way, you got an explosive play. So just got to get him and other quarterbacks to understand that when the guy's wide open, you don't have to be perfect with it. You just got to put it on his body.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. We now go to Grambling State head coach Hugh Jackson.
How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate your time. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping this past week's action and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Well, obviously, wasn't the outcome that we wanted. I think our guys played extremely hard. We did some really good things on offense, did some things good on defense, just didn't stop the run as well as I think we could. We got to get that shored up for sure. We were 4 for 4 in scoring zone, so that was improvement. We were over 50% third down conversion. We got 2 turnovers on defense. I thought our special teams, other than an extra point, played well, but we got to improve in that area too. It was the first game out, so we got some improving to do, but we're very disappointed that we couldn't come away with a win in that game.
Coach, if we could you adjust your camera just where we could get your folks?
Absolutely. I'll do this. I'll hold it right here. Make it a little bit simpler.
Outstanding. Appreciate it, Coach. We're going to open up for questions for Coach Jackson. First question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach. I hope everything's well in Louisiana. The first question I have is about how LSU is perceived as one of the premier programs in college football, but you have guys on your team that are, have NFL aspirations: Lewis Matthews, Cindy Anderson, Miles Crowley, and others. How big is it for them to put on a good showing against a school that's so regarded, amongst the NFL landscape?
Well, it's big. Obviously, it's another school in our state, and a lot of these guys they've played with and played against, so they know them. But for us as a football team, it's the next game on our schedule, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on getting better this week. We need to be a better football team this week. But are they excited to go into Death Valley and go play? Absolutely, they are.
And then a really quick follow-up, obviously an in-state rival. Regardless of that, how important is it to show, good showings against in-state rivals when it comes to recruiting and showing high school guys, hey, instead of, this other school, let me go play for Grambling?
No, absolutely important. I think it's so important because we're going to get a chance to showcase our university, our football team, our student athletes against what people say is the best in the country. So anytime young other student athletes or recruits can come to the game and see what we're doing, at a high level, they get a chance to really see our program in a whole lot different light than maybe they would. Because some of these guys probably wouldn't even come visit us that way. But I think if we can go play football the way I think we can, maybe we can sway some of those guys to come see us.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the G-men are well. When you look at the Hampton game, I know you've moved on. Close contest. What are some of the things you want to take from that as you move forward?
What I took from it is that our quarterback played consistently. We were able to spread the ball around. We didn't run it as well as I think we can. So I saw some areas that we can improve there. Defensively, we got to shore up the stopping the run. I mean, we got to get better at that. I mean, we saw a team that ran the ball extremely well. We gave up 279 yards rushing. So that's not where we want to be. So we got some improving to do. We got to continue to create the right environment so our guys can get better that way. But I thought there was some positives too. We got 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. I think that was huge. But a young player have a couple of sacks, which was good. But at the same time, just we got to make sure we're hitting on all cylinders as we get ready to play this game this week.
Coach, the LSU game provides the type of stage that any student athlete wants. Talk about how big this is for the SWAC and HBCU to play a SEC foe.
Oh, it's huge. I know we talk about SEC and the SWAC. At the end of the day, all these guys are football players, and obviously LSU carries a big name, but so does Grambling. So it's a chance for 2 programs that have obviously done extremely well in the past and just not here recently. LSU won a national championship, that they get a chance to compete and show exactly where they are. And believe me, everybody will be watching because everybody want to see where is Grambling at right now and where is LSU at right now. So it's a tremendous opportunity for us. And obviously LSU's, coming off a loss. So I'm sure they want to get in the win column as fast as they can as well.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Henry.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Coach, in the game against Hampton, we saw where it looks like the defense actually didn't play to expectation. Coming into the season, it was thought that maybe the defense would be the stronghold of this team. Can you speak on that, and what do you think are some things you want to improve on?
Absolutely. I think you just said it. We didn't play as well defensively. And so we don't run from that. We got to coach better. We got to continue to put these guys in great positions so that they can make the plays that they can make. We got to tackle better as a group, period. And we got to fly to the ball even better because we got to stop the rush. I don't, again, I still think they're going to be the anchor of our football team as we go forward because there's a lot of veteran players over there. But as you can see, the offense is starting to find its way. And I think we'll continue to get better on all phases of our football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Dr. Pavil.
I want to follow up and focus a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, transfers Miles Crowley, the junior 6'3", really had a big game, 311 yards, two touchdowns, as you know. And one of his main receivers was Lyndon Rash, the senior there, 8 receptions for 90 yards and got in the end zone. What are your thoughts in terms of that combination and more so in terms of what both individuals bring to the table?
Well, I think those guys really spent a lot of time this offseason working together. It started in the spring and obviously through the summer, through training camp. And so you see a lot of that work pay off. And so both of those guys work extremely hard. It's important to them. And so Rash, I'm not surprised by anything he's done. He was our leading receiver last year, and he probably will be again this year because he's a tremendous football player. But there's what I was most excited about is the quarterback was able to spread the ball around to quite a few guys. We have a lot of guys that caught the ball, a lot of guys that had the ball in their hands. We got to continue to do that to be the type of that we want to be.
Follow-up question is also in this matchup is right before the half or 10 minutes, Hampton was able to get 2 touchdowns, 21-9. Your team fought back in the second half, but a lot of that game came down to that first half slow start, if you would. Are there some things that maybe you can do to speed up a little bit, or did you see it differently?
Well, I did see it different. I thought we sped up. I mean, we took the first opening drive on offense and went 12 plays, 75 yards, and scored. And the next opportunity we have, we get down there and we end up having to kick a field goal, third down call, we wish we had back, but those things happen from time to time. So I think we started good, and I think we started good defensively. We 3 and out, got them off the field. We got to keep that momentum going is what we have to do. We have to take that energy and make sure that it's there throughout the first half. And then again, when we started the second half, the offense went right back down and scored and got us right back in the game. So we just got to continue to be consistent in all phases of our football team as we continue this journey season.
Thank you, Coach.
Sure.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
We now go to Arkansas Pine Bluff and head coach Alonzo Hampton.
You guys see me?
We can't see you, Coach.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Good deal. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out by recapping your past week's opponent and previewing your upcoming matchup.
Well, obviously, we started up the game off the right way. Got a turnover off right out of the back, and were able to score, go up 7-0. Then we kicked the ball off to them, and we get another takeaway right out the bat. And offense, we're driving the ball down on their side of the field again with opportunity to score, and the ball hit the receiver in the hands. They get it back, and on defense, we pick another one off. So the first 3 possessions, we had takeaways. And obviously, I don't say this in a bad way, but we had an opportunity to be up at least 13-0. Could have been 21-0 because we were moving the football. And that's the frustrating part of it. And as I told our players, obviously they end up winning the game by a large margin. Second half, we let the game, second quarter really kind of got away with us. We were in the game down 10-7, I think, and we gave up a deep ball in cover 3. And that kind of just took the steam off of it. But overall, our kids played hard. Offensively, we were able to move the ball, got stymied on third down a little bit, and that kind of held us back. But again, I'm excited about our football team, excited about where the program is going. And as we watch film, our kids know that that wasn't a team. That team wasn't 35 points better than us. And if we had taken care of business, I think we had an opportunity to make it a very, very close game. And that's who we are. We're trying to restore the pride, and we had an opportunity to do it. And now we're excited about this week coming up, playing Tennessee State. And, obviously they had a big opponent as well. So it's 2 good football programs. Looking forward to an opportunity to play in the Southern Heritage Classic. And we need our fans there. It's 2.5 hours away. So I'm excited about that.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Hampton. First question goes to Mason Smith.
Morning, Coach. Hope everything's well in Arkansas. I wanted to ask you about Mekhi Higgins. Of course, he got banged up a little bit on that one hit. Want to ask you about an update with him and if he'll be ready to go this week.
Yeah, Coach, he's ready. He could have went back in the game. Obviously, we were going to play 2 quarterbacks regardless, and just so happened he got injured. Banged his shoulder around, and we let Jalen got in the game. Jalen went 5 for 5. So, as I tell everybody, man, this is a highly competitive football team. We got players. We don't have starters. We got an organization with chart, and it's no different. But Mekhi, he's well. He could have went back in the game, but obviously we wanted Jalen to get an opportunity to play. And so that's what we end up doing.
A quick follow-up. Obviously, one real bright spot was running back Jonas Davis. He honestly did very well against the Tulsa defense. What do you like about him, as he did yesterday in the season going forward?
Yeah, that kid had 17 carries for 98 yards, average 4.8. He's just tough. As a kid in the spring when I took the job over, he was injured a lot and wasn't quite sure that he was going to be able to recover from it. He just had some hip issues, probably because he's still growing too. But, man, he came in the fall camp. We couldn't tackle him. And obviously Tulsa couldn't either because he got in the game. He runs mad. And so we're excited about him. He's a freshman. And, obviously, we got Michael Jamerson and we got B.J. Carey. We like our running back position and moving forward. I think we'll be able to run the football. Tulsa was a really tough opponent. The D-line was pretty good. But Jones was able to make a guy miss and then able to do some good things.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Deron Snyder.
Oh, good morning. Hope all is well. Coach, I know that was your debut. I was wondering what were some of the things you were feeling as you got ready to start in the head position? What were some of the things you maybe reflected back on leading you up to that moment?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's excitement to be able to lead the team out of the tunnel. But at the end of the day, when the ball's kicked off, the whistles blow. It's just football. It's me and my team against the other team on the sideline. So as a competitor, man, you get excited about that. But obviously, I had to remind myself a couple of times that I was the head coach and not a player. That's my problem most of the time. So when they get beat on the touchdown, I got beat on the touchdown. When they get an interception, I get the interception. When they score, I score. And so I'm fully invested. So the only thing I got to do is just remind myself, hey, you're 49 years old. You can't go out there and play again, man. Just let these players play and you coach and you motivate them.
Thank you. If I could have a quick follow-up. You mentioned the Southern Heritage Classic. They've been drawing 40+ thousand people for years. There's a lot of heritage to the Southern Heritage Classic. I was wondering what sense of that you have and what level of anticipation do you guys have to go up there to play against a Tennessee State that is maybe looking to say, like, maybe we can get a win over these last few years because they haven't been able to due to their opponent, Jackson State?
Well, yeah, obviously for us, anytime you get picked in a classic, man, that's just a different feel all around. And the Southern Heritage Classic has been around a long time. Mr. Jones has done a tremendous job. And obviously for us as a fan base, as for our administration, we're all excited. I mean, people have been talking about this game all summer. And let's be honest, I don't even know if we had 200 fans at the Tulsa game. I can guarantee you we'll paint the town black and gold in Memphis. And so everybody's been excited about it. It's us for us. And so let's get down there. Let's have a good time. But at the end of the day, it's our job to go out there as a football program and win this football game. And, obviously last week was a tough week for us. It was a tough week for Tennessee State. But they're excited about playing us, and we're excited about playing them. So I told all our fans, man, get there early. Get there on Friday night. Enjoy all the festivities. And I told my team on Sunday, man, the party's not for us. The game's for us. That's where we get our enjoyment from. So let's go out there and concentrate and do what we're supposed to do. And let's restore the pride and let's get UAPB back on track.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Hampton, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. When you think about the conversation of FCS and FBS and HBC playing up, what are your takeaways from that concept?
Coach, I mean, it's like everybody has said, all the coaches, I mean, and as a competitor, as a player, the only difference is going to be the O-line, D-line, okay? That's the only difference. And every now and then, all right, Tennessee State, they got a couple guys I know can play Power 5 football because I coach Power 5. I watched them on film, and they're destroying the dudes from Notre Dame. So I think we get caught up into the Power 5, the Group of 5, the FCS. When it comes to skill position, man, it don't matter. We just saw what Colorado did, what Deion's son did. We played him when I was at Northeast Louisiana, and he threw for 270 yards against us. But guess what? We were Group of 5, all right? He threw for 510 yards against TCU. They were just the national runner-up. All that, I don't really care about all that. At the end of the day, it's just football, my man. And those kids that we coach here at this level, they can flat out play football. And what you'll continue to see when we play these type of games against bigger opponents, the only difference is going to be the O-line, D-line play. And at times, if you slow the game down, you won't even notice that because our guys will be able to get enough wind behind them that they can make those plays. But obviously, I've been at every level, from the high school level to the HBCU to the Group of 5 to the Power 5. You name it, it's just football.
Coach, you've been able to play on Sundays and also Mr. Eddie George, but just talk about this opportunity for young men, whether it be from Pine Bluff or Tennessee State, they want to get to the next level, and what this opportunity looks like to showcase, in the Heritage Classic, the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis in front of everybody.
Well, obviously, like you said, I wasn't like Mr. George. I mean, he had a chance to play a long time in the NFL. I just got to drink a coffee in the NFL, and they sent me on my way. But I learned some valuable lessons. But every player on our team and every player on his team, every kid think they got a chance to play in the NFL. But what you have to realize is it's a lot of work that goes into that. And being on this stage, we'll have NFL scouts there, man. It'll be packed with NFL scouts. And if you put good product out there on the field, people will find you. And I think that's what all the coaches in this league has done. I mean, we're going to promote our program. We're going to promote our players. And we know if some of our players go to other places, man, these guys will be stars there too. And so obviously on Saturday, man, we want to have a good product on both sides of the ball. And for people to watch this game and say, hey, man, they got some good players. They got an opportunity to play on the next level when it comes that time. So I'm excited about seeing these young men go out there and play to the best of their ability and showcase to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Last
Yes, sir, you
question
too.
goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach, hope you had a good weekend. Coming off of a Thursday night game, you've obviously got a longer than usual week to get ready for Saturday's game. What kind of a difference does that make to have those extra days, and how have you guys spent those extra days?
Well, I spent my extra day on Friday. We watched film and went outside and we ran. And on Saturday, I went down to Tulane to watch my son play. He's a corner there. They played South Al. And then I had about a 10-hour ride with just me and myself. I didn't even turn the music on. All I did was think about the game, and I thought about the upcoming game. So that's what I did. I gave the players Saturday off, coaches, and then we came back Sunday like a normal week, and we watched film and got ready for Tennessee State. But at the end of the day, man, it's football, and everybody's rested, ready to go. Anytime you lose a game, you always want to get back in there and get back into competition. So I'm excited about practice at 4:00 today, man. I can't wait to get back on the field. I hate losing. And every player in my locker room and every coach on here that lost, congratulations to all the winners, man. Hey, losing sucks, all right? Winning is fun. And so I'm ready to get back out there on the field, and let's find a way to get a win this week.
Then, Coach, after the game on Thursday, I know we talked about the defense did a lot of good things, special teams, but you weren't thrilled with the offensive performance. A few days later, now that you're getting ready for game number 2, how do you feel about the offense now?
Coach, I feel like I'm going to tell everybody again, our offense is pretty good. Our offensive coordinator is really good. All right. Those 2 drives that we had turnovers in, when we got them on defense in the first quarter, we should have been up 21-0. We threw a ball to a guy that was wide open. The ball hits him in the chest, and they intercept the ball. We're going down to score. All right. The next possession, we're driving the ball again in the red zone. And on third down, the quarterback scramble, it hit the receiver right in the hand. All right. So we got a chance to, and I mean, we can't live in yesterday, but we had a chance to be up 14-0. I mean, at the worst, it could have been 17-0, and then you never know what happens. But instead, it didn't happen. And so when I say I'm disappointed in offense, I don't mean that in a negative way. I expect our offense to score every time. That's what you hear me saying. Like, I think our scheme is so good, and we have good enough players that we can move the ball on anybody. And we had 69 plays, 252 yards. Makai, he played a really good game. Jalen came in, did a really good job. Our receivers have to catch the ball, period. And so when you hear me say that after the game, and I guess that's where I probably need to relax just a little bit, because you thought I was saying that they didn't do good. They moved the ball really well. We just, at times, on third down, they were able to do some things to us. And we should have been able to extend the drives a couple more plays, and that would have kept the defense off the field in that second quarter where we gave up those 28 points.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time, and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it, man. And again, congrats to all the winners, and hopefully next week the Golden Lions will be a winner.
Appreciate it, Coach. We now go to Mississippi Valley State and head coach Kendrick Wade. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your past week's opponent and previewing your bye week.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. First and foremost, man, I'm extremely excited. for how hard our players played. To say that we're disappointed with the outcome is an extreme understatement. We endured a lot, had to deal with a lot, some things that wasn't necessarily ideal or conducive to going out being successful. But I really have to applaud the guys for how they handled everything up there while we was in Chicago. But again, congrats to Coach Porter and Central State. Those guys played extremely hard, and they found a way to get it done. And our next opponent will be Delta State. We're off this week, but we got Delta State in 2 weeks, and obviously that's the place that I just came from last year, and they're a really good football team, defending Gulf South champs, very disciplined team. A team that you got to beat. They're not going to beat themselves. So we're going to use this week to kind of work on ourselves and get back to just some basic fundamental things, and we'll take it from there.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Wade. We'll now open the floor for questions for Coach. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. First question goes to Des Barnes.
Hey, Coach. This is Des Barnes with MTMV Sports. So as you said, you came from Delta State, you got a bye week, you're coming in. So what is something that you're going to change in terms of the second half scheme going into playing Delta State? Because you all kind of, you did a really good job, but you kind of beat yourself for allowing them to score in the third and the fourth quarter.
Yeah, just there are a lot of things. We played a lot of players, so we still trying to figure out who's who on this team. So schematically, we're going to do what we do. We just had some just breakdown as far as just fundamental technique, just eye discipline, and just not being where we're supposed to be on a consistent basis. So we're going to use this week to kind of rectify those things and get those things corrected.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. We see that, as you said, things didn't kind of go your way against Central State. Both of you guys played up to your utmost, and they were able to get that winning field goal. What did you see in terms of your defense that really brings the positive aspect to what you can do later on down the line?
They just kept playing hard. I think we ran out of fear after the first quarter, as a team, but those guys just kept playing hard, So I told the team this. I said, with our defense, we're going to always have a chance to win a game because they're going to keep us in the game. And our quarterback are going to be the ones that's, going to have to bring this thing home for us. So defensively, we're very excited with how hard the guys played. But again, just some small fundamental breakdowns that we had that kind of cost us.
Now, on the offense, you were only able to score 21 points. What can you see in terms of your passing game that can really be a boost to what you have upcoming for the upcoming game, especially against Delta State?
We had some critical drops, so we had some big time drops. I think we had 4 drops yesterday that would have been big plays, and we had a critical turnover inside the red zone. As far as passing the ball, there are some things our quarterback play have to be better. Just kind of made the wrong reads on quite a few plays, and those are things that we're going to get corrected. And as I said, we're going to use this week to kind of really self-correct and do a lot of the things that we need to do, because it's not about our opponent. The team we just played didn't do anything, to stop us. We stopped ourselves. So as I said, we'll get all those things corrected this week.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks very much, and much success in your next game.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Wade, I hope you and everybody in Itabena are well. But just talk a little bit about this rivalry in the Delta when you have Delta State out of Cleveland and Valley playing, and what that looks like in the Delta, the SWAC brand, and obviously you have a D2 school in Delta State. But just talk a little bit about why this game is important for Valley fans.
Man, I'm from Cleveland, so it's home for me. This game between these two schools, you have thousands of people who went to either Mississippi Valley or Delta State. So the bragging rights, recruiting rights, and all of those things that come with it. Delta State is D2, but don't get it twisted. Delta State could be a FCS school if they really wanted to. I just left that place, so facility and financially, they're in a really good place. But it's just a great rival, man. And we've only beat them once. We 1-5 in this game. The last time we beat them, I was a player back in 2002. So, man, it's a really big game, and people are excited about it, and they're already starting to talk about it. And like I said, we really looking forward to getting to it next week.
Coach, I remember covering those games back when I worked in Mississippi in television. But just talk a little bit about yourself being the head football coach at Valley, and so far, what it's been like for you going to Chicago and continuing to keep this thing going.
Man, it's been amazing. Somebody asked me how was my first game as a college coach and at Soldier Field, and I told them it was no different than being a high school coach in Memphis. I mean, coaching is coaching. We born to do this, so it wasn't a big deal, as big as people wanted to make it be. Coaching ball is coaching ball, but it's great, man. Because the biggest thing about it is you have a person that's leading this program that genuinely care about the university, and for me, it's not a job. I genuinely care about this university as a whole, care about these young men, and I'm just so excited to be able to lead this program.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Question goes to Mason Smith.
Morning, Coach. Everything's well in Mississippi. I did want to ask you about just the preparation for next week against Delta State. I know you talked about last week, it was kind of challenging with some logistical things. I understand you're not making excuses, but the idea of having, a full traditional week of preparation, in-state opponents, you don't have to worry about travel as much. Just how is it going to be just being able to just get back to football next week?
Man, that's the exciting part, because as coaches, as a coaching staff, our job is to put our kids put them in position to go out and be successful, and I don't think we were able to do that this past weekend, not pointing fingers at anybody. All of it falls back on me as the head coach. I take 100% blame for everything that happens or don't happen with this program. So it feels good just to be able to just kind of get back to just being able to go out and prepare the right way and know that once we step out there on Saturday, our kids have been in a position to go out and present them best selves. So we're excited about that. And like I said, we're looking forward to this week where we're going to focus more so on ourselves than we are our opponent. And like I said, next week we'll start that preparation with Delta State. And we're going to give these kids a couple of days off. It's a bye week for us. So they'll get Saturday and Sunday off, and we'll get back to work on the following Monday and get ready for that game.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC lab. Coach, if you would allow me, I'd like to take it off the field a little bit. My colleagues broke down those matchups from that perspective. I want to ask you first about this, the Chicago Football Classic. What were your thoughts in terms of the experience for the students and maybe yourself in terms of participating in that classic?
I've been coaching 14 years, probably the worst experience of my life as far as just the logistics, as far as how things were set up, as far as the meals, as far as the hotel, the just constant changes of the itinerary. I mean, there was a lot of things that just wasn't really conducive to going out being successful. But I assure my players, as long as I'm the head coach, they'll never have to go through that again. Because like I said, it all falls back on me. So, we got to do a better job of doing our homework and doing our due diligence as far as making sure and ensuring that when our kids get to these classics, that they're treated in a manner that they need to be treated. And like I said, all of it falls back on me, but it'll never happen again. And like I said, as long as I'm the head coach here at Mississippi Valley, I have no intention of going back playing in the Chicago Classic, nothing against it. But for me, it just didn't work well for us, But again, congrats to the other team. But, it is what it is.
Certainly, Coach, and I thank you for being forthright and understand your leadership in terms of being able to put that out there from that perspective. That's what leaders do.
Yes, sir.
Second question, we've heard, no problem. We heard this past week in a lot of different areas in regards to the FCS, FBS, Power 5, this and that, HBCUs, what I refer to historically white colleges. In this case, it's a little bit unique for the designation, if you want to use that, in terms of a FCS program playing away, playing a home game at a Division II location. Can you talk a little bit about the uniqueness or the philosophical approach in terms of that alignment? And is that something that you can see done with the FBS program traveling to a neutral site or to a FCS program on the other side of that?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, yes, I could. I can see that. And this situation is very unique. With our locale and just kind of, us being FCS, Delta State being a Division II school, we enjoy that. Like, we're excited to go to that stadium and bring our fans and bring our band into that stadium. I can see FBS schools coming to FCS. I think it's a great idea just for these guys to, particularly PWIs, to be able to come to a HBCU campus and just kind of see the game day experience at HBCUs, and us being an HBCU being able to go to a PWI and just kind of look at the game day experience for those guys. So I think it's very unique, and I actually enjoy it. And I'm very excited that our guys get a chance to go over to Delta State and get on that campus and just kind of see how they go about celebrating and getting ready for a game as far as their fans are concerned. So we super excited about it, and I love the idea of doing this, and I will continue to do this. Love it.
Thank you, Coach Wade. Thank you for your candor, and look forward to the game this past week and the rest of the season. Take care. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc.
Coach Wade, as always, we appreciate your time and look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We now go to Prairie View A&M and head coach Bubba McDowell. Before we get started, Coach McDowell, we do want to thank you so much for your patience. I do realize we are behind schedule during your normal time slot, so thank you for your patience with us.
Thank you, guys.
Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping this past week's action.
Yeah, again, a really good football game, exciting football game. Two teams that knew each other really well. Two good football teams. Very happy that Prairie View A&M University came out on top, in that overtime game. But as I told guys, on the sideline, that fourth quarter, I said, look, man, just stay the course. Just continue to do what we do best. Play 4 quarters of football. Same thing we've been preaching all summer long, all spring long. And we'll come out okay. And those guys did not give up, man. I'm so proud of them just staying together, staying the course. Even when things didn't look, as bright as we hoped it would down that stretch, we stayed together, man. And we started making plays, at the right time. And that, again, that's what it's all about. Getting players in position to make plays that we thought we should have made plays earlier, but we was missing them for some reason, being defensively and offensively. But the thing is, hey, we did what we were supposed to do down the stretch, and we came out victorious in the game. Then going into this week with ACU, again, we know Coach Patterson is going to come in here. He's ready to go. First year, last year, we both played each other, and I think we had a chance last year to seal that victory. Didn't go our way. The ball didn't bounce our way at the end. But no, that was last year. As I told the guys, this year's the new year. These guys are going to come in ready to go. We've got 2 big tight ends. They love the 12 personnel, 11 personnel. They love to pound it, and like I told defense, we're gonna have to get better, in the run aspect of it anyway. We gave up 200 some yards running this weekend, and that's not us. We way better than that defensively. So we got to get ready and get prepared and get ready for these guys coming in.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions. First question goes to Mason Smith.
Morning, Coach. Congratulations again on the win. I did want to ask you about, earning your conference win so early in the year. Obviously, it's usually customary that you play a couple non-conference games, develop your team. So what does it mean to already kind of start up on the right foot in conference play?
I mean, it's big. Would I like to, just a personal thing? No, I would not like to start off with a conference game, but it is what it is. And, guys know, the kids know that. So we got to go out and play like, it's a championship game. And that's what we did. Like I say, in those type of games, you got to win because, Coach McKinney and I, we talk about it all the time, and among others. Shoot, that game, could set you back 2 or 3 games. Just depending on what happened during the course of the rest of the year. So yes, it's a tough game, but hey, you still got to play it. Go out, you got to go out and win it.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Houston are well. Congratulations. Talk a little bit about that victory. It's a rivalry game, and you get out of there in overtime. That's got to be a beautiful thing to start out the season.
Absolutely. Again, here, Coach, it's about us playing 4 quarters of football. We knew coming in, we talked about it again all summer long. I know I sound like I'm reiterating myself over and over again, but it is what it is. We knew we was going to play against a tough team, with Texas Southern. They know us, we know them. Talent is pretty much similar across the board, and then it was going to come out to who make the most plays at the end of the game, and that's what we did. Like I said, kids saw that we was down 17 points, and shoot, they stayed together, started making plays, started having correct reads offensively, and Trezon not rushing things like he was doing the very first half of the first part of the first half. Once we got him over there, settled him down, then he started making those plays, and that's who he is. Once you settle him down, and he's a playmaker. And that's what took us into that victory, man. But yeah, you anytime you play a team like Texas Southern, man, you got to be on all your P's and Q's, cross the I's, cross the T's and dot the I's, because again, if you don't, then it could easily went the other way. But fortunately for us, the ball bounced our way in overtime.
Abilene Christian, what do you know about them? And so far, when you look at that particular program, what are you seeing so far about this team?
Well, big guys. I think Coach Patterson again went out, recruited some bigger kids. They look bigger. Again, we know that they're going to try to pound the ball. They do a lot of shifting with the 2 tight ends. Try to do a lot of mismatches, on their front line, and they what they like to do is they do a lot of tight stuff, and then they want to kind of get you mixed up, a lot of pick routes within those tight bunch sets. So, and we know we're going to have to go in defensively and play better than we played last week, because again, these are bigger guys, but again, at the same time, we got guys that can handle up front. We got guys that could do things in that middle with our linebacker crew. And again, it's just about us going out and doing what we're supposed to do assignment-wise. If we do that, we'll be fine. Offensively, we're just going to take it to them. They do a lot of man. We believe that we got the quarterback, to read what they're going to give us defensively. We got the wide receiver crew that we know that can challenge those DBs on the other side and go make plays. And that's what we're going to have to do to beat a good team like this.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach McDowell.
What up, Doc?
I wanted to ask you a little bit about your quarterback. Obviously, coming into the season, a lot of people were talking about Moose body, and even after week 0, Brown was in the conversation. Rightfully so. Those quarterbacks have done a lot of things for the league. Came in there, but Trezon Connell was quiet. Not a lot of people really talking about him, senior. Obviously, in this game, he, as you know the stats, he was 20, 33, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, a key one late in that game. He did have the interception. And usually you think about him maybe using his legs. He really didn't use his legs in that game, but he spread the ball around a lot of the receivers and got it done. I just wanted to get your general thoughts in terms of how he played and how you expect him moving throughout the season.
I think he played really well. I did. Could have played better? Absolutely. Again, it took him a minute to settle down. That second half, should I say, and do the things he's capable of doing, and making plays. We all know he can do it with his legs. Coming back this season, we want to see how well he improved with his passing. He has done that. He's has done extensive training throughout the summer. Went to a training camp up there in Atlanta and got a chance to not only I thought was really good. Not only just do things on the field, but also go in the classroom and see what it's about in the classroom with professionals and see how they look at things differently than college coaches. So I think that helped him out big time as far as when he got back here. He continued to go to training every Tuesday afternoon and polish up and get better. And as you can see, he has done that, and that's what we've been expecting him to do all year long, all summer long, and continue to do that the rest of the year. Once he settles down and do what he's supposed to do, the guy's pretty dangerous.
Follow-up question is regarding this next matchup, but before we do that, you had transfer players on the offensive side of the ball came in and really played and made some big plays throughout it. On the defensive, you brought in some guys as well. But Texas Southern was able to put up some rushing yards, as you alluded to, 200 passing yards. Abilene Christian in their last matchup had 268 yards. You played them last year. As you said, you were able to get up of them, couldn't hold it down. In terms of your defensive side of the ball, what are you looking to do to attack with Abilene Christian? Looks like they plan to do to mix it up between the pass and the run, specifically being able to run the ball.
Again, we just got to take about gap responsibilities. I mean, as we looked at Texas Southern, I mean, our guys wasn't in their gaps. Responsibilities that we asked these guys to do and that they were taught to do throughout the whole week, getting ready for Texas Southern, it wasn't being done. If we get these guys where they're supposed to be, gap responsibility, be it the defensive line, be it the linebacker, we'll be okay. I mean, we know that they're going to try to mix it up, with the run and pass. But again, if we, get in this week and study the film, study our opponent the way we know how, and coaches putting these young men in position to make plays, we can hold our own. Trust me, I think we definitely got a D-line that can get up there and do what they're supposed to do as far as gap responsibility, holding it. And I know it didn't look like it in the Texas Southern game, but again, our secondary is pretty good, and they just got to be able to make the plays when it counts, And I think we'll get much better this week.
I trust you, Coach. Congratulations on the Victory Labor Day Classic, and look forward to this first home opener.
Thank you, sir.
Coach McDowell, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We now go to Southern University. Head coach Eric Dooley. I do see that we have Coach with us. Coach, as we get set to get started, we want to thank you so much for your patience. I do realize that we are behind schedule here, so thank you so much for your patience.
Yes. Well, good morning, good afternoon to all. Went down to Montgomery, played against Coach Robinson team, guy I know so well. It was a tough contest. Anticipated it being a hard-fought contest. I thought they made some plays, a couple more plays than we made. Of course, obviously, the score dictates that. Very disappointing, and I guess the way that we came out, started fast, and first two drives we started fast and had some things going. Didn't make the adjustments on defense, so they got off to a fast start as well. But we settled down a little bit, and it was back and forth. What I thought was two good football teams. Unfortunately, they came out on top, and now we just got to. I don't like to say go back to the drawing board. We just got to correct what's there and get better for this upcoming game, which is going to be a very challenging game. We're talking about a team that just lost their first SWAC contest in 2 years, so they're going to be hungry and ready to play some football.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Dooley. First question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Good morning, Coach. Keisha Kelly, Black College Experience. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good. Well, I'm sorry, it's afternoon on my side. I'm sorry. So you talked about how the team came out fast, and you talked about how disappointed you were, because it didn't come out favorable on Southern University side. What is the team working on, or what are you guys working on to make sure that it's a little bit more favorable, and it's not to end out how we ended this past week, going up against, like you said, a team that hasn't lost a SWAC game in 2 years against Jackson State?
Just what we talked about. We were always talking about starting fast and finishing strong, but you got to be able to play for 60 minutes. You play for 60 minutes, then you can control the outcome of it. The thing that I do that I'm very, very encouraged about that they didn't quit. You know, they kept fighting. Unfortunately, we didn't make the plays down the stretch. You know, you had a couple of penalties here and there that put you in a bad situation, but a veteran team can't have those type penalties. So we understand that right there. We're not going to look in the rearview mirror. We can't allow Alabama State to beat us twice. So we got to move forward and correct those mistakes as we move forward.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Henry.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Coach, with the new college rules changing and stuff, that clock moves a lot faster. It seems like you maybe had 1 or 2 drives in the first quarter and it was done. Tell me how you have to game plan now to make sure that you can maximize on your opportunities.
Well, you know, I know everybody talking about the clock, but I think the clock go in my favor because I want to play fast anyway. So it really don't affect me. You just got to be able to get off the field on third down when you talk about defensively in order to get those balls. Now you got a team that's a ball control unit, then they're going to use that effectively. But I didn't think it played a major role. We did. It was some concern. You can recognize it and see it, but we just got to play football and don't worry about the clock. At the end of the when that clock ticks 0-0-0, just have 1 point more than the next team.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good afternoon, Coach Dooley. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Went down to Montgomery. I was at that game and played against a really tough Alabama State team. But the defense, my question is in regards to the defense. Even though your offense was not able to put up any more than 10 points, but your defense was able to hold Alabama State to just 14 points, and they didn't get a chance to score any points in the fourth. So what can you actually say on the positive side about your defense, though?
There's nothing positive when you have a loss. There's nothing positive. We just got to go back and we just got to continue to correct the mistakes that we have and move forward. Some things we got to make adjustments in all 3 phases of the game to get better because it's a very competitive league. You can't afford to slip on anything right now. It's a very competitive league, and we understand that. So that's one that did get us, but we feel real good where we are right now. We just got to rebound and keep moving forward.
Now, this game that's upcoming with Jackson State at home, Jackson State, of course, is coming off their first loss in several games in the SWAC. How do you see yourself taking advantage of them playing 2 games with a lot of information before you that you can actually read off from?
Well, I mean, them playing 2 games, that gives them an opportunity to get in rhythm. But when you have a veteran team and a team that is seasoned, the rhythm's got to start from game 1. So you can't go in there with the mindset of saying that they're going to play 1 more game than I played now because the season's not going to stop. You got to play and be prepared for whatever it is. If that's the way the hand is dealt to it, you got to play it and play it good. So we feel good where we are. We know the adjustment we have to make, and we got to look forward to a very, very huge challenge with a team that come in that understands how to win.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Much success to you.
Thanks.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. Mr. Harold Blood, talk about the quarterback, what you're seeing in him so far, and what you liked with his game so far.
You know, I thought he came out for the first time to get his first start and play a full game. I thought he did some things well. But, of course, when you look at that position right there, you got to be very, very critical. I'm very critical on all positions. Sometimes we did miss some throws that was there that we had opportunity. Was it all his fault? No. Some things, you know, it take 11 to play this game. And so all 11 got to carry out their responsibility. But for the most part, I thought he played the game well. Did have a couple of turnovers due to certain reasons, things that took place. But the guy that we thought we were going to get as the opening day starter is the guy that came out and displayed and made some great throws. Now we got something that we can correct from a live game and get him better.
Coach, Jackson comes into Mumford. This is one of those big-time rivalries when you have Southern and Jackson State. Just talk about this weekend, and again, a great opportunity to earn a victory.
Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be a very, very exciting, electrifying weekend. You're talking about 2 of the top HBCUs coming right here on the Bluff. Couldn't ask for a better atmosphere right there. You know it's going to be a sold-out crowd. You know people are going to be standing around. They're going to have tailgates. That's what HBCUs HBCUs is all about. So that's what you want to see. That's why you tell young men to come to your university to see games of this nature right here. So, it's exciting, but at the end of the day, we got to be able to play 60 minutes of football because it is a contest that's going to be very, very challenging.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
You too. Thanks.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We now go to Texas Southern, head coach Clarence McKinney. You see that we have Coach with us. Coach, first off, I appreciate your patience. I know we're behind schedule, but if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's past week's action.
Tough loss versus Prairie University in the Labor Day Classic. Thought it was an evenly game. Game could have gone either way. In the end, I feel like we turned the ball over a couple more times than what they did. Was the difference in the game. And also defensively, we didn't get the stops that we needed when we needed them. But overall, I think it was a well-played game. We just didn't finish it at the end.
We'll now open up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the matchup that featured some of the top quarterbacks coming into the game, particularly with Andrew Body. What was your thoughts in terms of his overall play? Had 3 big touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I know all of them weren't necessarily on him, and sometimes the fans don't necessarily see that in tape. But what were your thoughts in terms of his leadership and his performance?
I think he's a great leader. He led our team. We started the game really well. He played well both with his arm and with his legs. It's just unfortunate that a couple turnovers here and there that some were his fault, some were not his fault, and it cost us the game. But I think overall, he's playing at a high level, and he's playing at the level that we need him to play at in order for us to be successful.
Follow-up question is just about whether it's offense or defense. What were some other key players that really stood out in terms of this game that we can continue to look forward to as the season progresses?
Defensively, I would say Jacob Williams played extremely well. I believe he had something like 13 tackles and 3 sacks. If he can continue at that pace, he's going to have a great year. And then you got guys like Vera Montez Pippins, Mike Akins, who continue to play hard and against the run as well as the pass up front on our D-line. Those guys played extremely well. And then offensively, Quay Davis, transferred from Jackson State, had about 7 catches for a little over 100 yards and a touchdown. And I think if those guys continue to play at that level, the sky's the limit for this team.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup this week.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Houston are well. Just talk a little bit about moving forward. You'll get an opportunity to go to Toledo and what that can look like. Again, the conversation of PWIs and HBCUs, and it's just a football game, but what do you see going in?
You're muted, Coach.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As I was saying, I think there's an opportunity for our team to get better. Anytime you get a chance to play, you want to improve upon the previous week. Although we're playing against a really tough opponent who just went into the Big Ten and almost beat an Illinois team. They're the returning MAC champion. So it's a tall task for us. But we're looking forward to it and looking forward to going up to Toledo and representing the SWAC well.
Coach, Andrew is a guy with a lot of upside. He can throw it around and he can play. Just talk a little bit about your quarterback, and this is a great opportunity for a lot of people to see him who may not have seen him so far.
Yeah, it gives him an opportunity to showcase his talent, but it gives our team an opportunity to represent our league and show that we're a quality football league and we can go out and compete at any level. I think Andrew is going to be excited about the opportunity to play against a Group of Five team, Group of Five program that's one of the top Group of Five programs around in the country, and our team is going to be ready to go.
Thank you, sir. Have a good week.
Thank you. You do the same.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good afternoon, Coach McKinney. Of course, it wasn't the result that you wanted, but speak about the fact that it was a conference game. Obviously, you always want to start well in conference. What does that change for you that, after this game, you're already kind of on the wrong foot when it comes to the conference record?
Well, it doesn't change anything for us. We're focused on the next week. The next game is the most important game. And there's nothing we can do about what happened last week except just continue to play and hope that some other things happen in our league that puts us in position at the end. We've been in this situation before, but we can't look too far ahead. We can only look to the next game. And we want to improve each week and just become a better football team.
And I talked to you during media day about how you played against UTSA last year. You have another chance to play another good Group of Five school in Toledo. Not only in just the HBCU landscape, but how does it feel to kind of put Texas Southern football on the map, on the national landscape, like the previous question said?
Yeah, well, we don't look at our opponent as being a FCS, FBS. They're just our opponent, and what we've got to do is go out and execute. Whether that's on offense, defense, or special teams, we've got to go out and execute our game plan. We trust that our coaches put together a winning game plan, and the players got to go out there and execute the game plan. And what happens at the end of the day. Hopefully, we'll come out on top.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How's it going, Terrence?
All right. Hey, you mentioned Jacob as having an outstanding game. I want to talk to you just a little bit about what he means to your defense and what he could mean as the season progresses.
Yeah, he's the leader of our defense. We lost him last year. He missed the second half of the season, and our defense didn't play as well as they did while he was there. And we're fortunate enough to be able to have him back. He's the leader of the defense. He's our leading tackler. I mean, we ask him to do a lot of things, from getting our guys lined up to stopping the run to rushing the passer. And he's a special talent, and we're excited to have him back. And we love watching him play ball and do his thing. He plays at a high level.
Okay. And then kind of as a follow-up to that is, what do you feel like he does well? What makes him a special linebacker for you guys?
For this day and age of football, he's the perfect linebacker versus spread offenses, and he passer. He can drop in the coverage. He really can just do it. A big kid. He's just an athletic, talented kid that he stands the game. He does a tremendous amount of puts in a tremendous amount of film work as far as studying his opponent, and he's a smart football player.
Okay. And then finally, I know you have a new defensive coordinator in. Has his role in the defense changed at all, or is it pretty much what it's been in terms of responsibility and that sort of thing?
His role changed? I think his role has changed from being a will linebacker who was getting lined up to become the Mike linebacker who has to line people up. And so, yeah, his role has changed from more of a soldier to a leader.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Got time for one quick question. We'll send it to Michael Jefferson.
Good afternoon, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. In this game, the game pretty much went back and forth, but you found some openings in the second and third quarter in terms of your offense that really changed the landscape of the game. But in the fourth quarter, unfortunately, you were not able to score. What can you do to change that in the future to make sure that you can continue to lock down the defense as well as continue to score?
I think we just got to execute and finish drives. There was a crucial penalty there in the fourth quarter that killed our momentum. And you can't do those things. You can't have personal foul penalties that'll kill drives and get you off schedule offensively. We feel like if we can stay on schedule, we're pretty hard to stop.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We'll now go to our final coach for our media session. We'll go to Jackson State and head coach T.C. Taylor. See that we have Coach with us. Coach, thank you so much. And first off, thank you for your patience. I do realize we're behind schedule with your normal time slot, so we appreciate your patience. But Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your past week's action versus Florida A&M.
Big time game that we didn't show up to play. FAMU, Coach Simmons, that entire staff did a great job getting those guys prepared. I take ownership of it as the head coach. I got to have my football team ready to play. It started from the opening kickoff with that big kickoff return by them. We didn't quite recover from that whole deal, but our tempo wasn't there. I just didn't see the team that I saw week one. So I take complete ownership, and we got to be better this week going into practice, getting ready for another road game down here in Baton Rouge.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing this afternoon, Coach Taylor?
I'm good. How you doing, Doc?
Man, I'm fighting through it, Coach.
That's all
I wanted
can.
to ask you a little bit about. Go ahead.
No, you got it. Go
ahead. Okay, I want to ask you a little bit about the defensive side of the ball, in terms of what the teams were able to do. Week 0 against South Carolina State, you were able to rush pretty effectively, not so much against FAMU, and it seems like Southern pretty stout on the defense. What would you like to see in terms of mixing it up between your offensive defense? I mean, your passing and running the ball.
You saying as far as our offense, Doc?
Yes.
Well, if you watch that game and you looked at our first week, the tempo was we didn't play with any tempo. I talked to our offensive staff about it. We got to get back to playing fast. We didn't really have any tempo out there with our offensive unit, O-line, quarterback, receivers, running backs, and just the physicality. I feel like FAM came across and hit us in the mouth, and we didn't respond. We didn't respond. But anytime a team jumps out on you like that, you can't turn the football over. We had 2 turnovers. Jason just drops the ball on one. Irv had one where he put on the ground that hurt us towards the end when we were trying to fight to get back in the football game. And we got to continue to work on these red zone scoring opportunities. We had one early in the game where they score on the kickoff return. We drive the football, do a great job getting down there. Offense sputters, and then we get the long snapper to snap it over the head. We get 3 points right there. It kind of calms everybody down, makes it a 7-3 game. We regroup and get back at it. But that's the thing, that the biggest thing that I talk to my staff about, as far as what we got to do is get back to playing fast, playing with some tempos, trust our calls, and go with what we believe.
Follow-up question is just about that in terms of the philosophy of working with young men. The ups and downs, first 3 weeks, big games, including this next one where we go against a rival, going down to Baton Rouge to the Bluff. Talk about the emotional state and the uniqueness of trying to get young folks to a certain level that you would like them to be able to play at.
Well, you get back in here and you get back at it. All I know to do is get back to work. But the main thing, what I did with these guys is pointed out, the reasons that we didn't compete in that game, some things we could have been better at, and that's my job as the head coach, but you just take it, we did we had a team meeting this morning. We gave them yesterday off, but we pointed out the turnovers again. The things we did in the red zone. We did a bad job of tackling. You look at those big backs was running the ball on us. We didn't wrap up on some tackles. They had over 200 yards rushing. I know we're a better tackling football team. I didn't think we got to the ball with the same tenacity that I seen the previous week. So you point out those things to your team. You get out here tonight. We'll get out there tonight and correct them in practice and start preparing for a Southern team in Baton Rouge this weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good afternoon, Coach. Obviously, it wasn't the result that you wanted, but I wanted to ask about with Southern coming up. You've always kind of had an advantage, winning against FAMU and kind of starting on the right foot in terms of conference play. Well, now kind of like it's on the other foot. You're 0-1 in conference play. How does that kind of, affect your mindset going into Southern, and of course, the rest of the year?
It don't really affect my mindset. Like I said, it's the next game on the schedule for our football team. We got to prepare just like we prepared the previous 2 weeks. It's the same deal though. We got to eliminate the things that got us beat. We got to eliminate those things and just get this football team ready to play. I challenged everybody. I challenged our coaches, our football team players, special teams. Just everybody got challenged this week to come out here this week and be the football team that I know we could be.
And a quick follow-up, we saw Jason Brown kind of grab at his hand during the games. Want to ask for an update on him if he's good to go against Southern.
We think he should be fine. He got banged up a little bit. We did X-rays, waiting to see how that play out. But we're expecting Jason to be upright and ready to go this weekend.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. In the game Saturday, special teams seem to be your guys' bugaboo. Not just with the opening kickoff, but with some other big returns. What adjustments are you guys going to make moving forward in that area of your game?
We got to look. We looked at that as well. It's some deal where we got to make some adjustments as far as our personnel. Some guys just look disinterested in being out there, and that's on me. Like I said, as a head coach, to get that fixed. But kudos to Coach Simmons and his staff. They had it schemed up pretty good. They had some electrifying players back there touching the football, but we got to be better there. That's special teams plays a big part in that in football games, and you saw that this weekend. I think about 230, close to 230 yards in return yardage. You're not going to win a football game like that. You're not going to win a football game when the long snapper goes out there and snaps the ball over the holder's hand, over the holder's head. So, I thought that was a big difference in the football game. They came out and really dominated us on special teams.
As a quick follow-up, Coach, Zy McDonald got extended period of time on the field after Jason was injured.
Mm-hmm.
How do you figure in the game plan moving forward? Are you guys going to go with a 2-quarterback system, or are you going to stick with Jason to start as long as he's healthy?
That's some things we'll work on this week. We'll work on this week, get out there, practice, get all that stuff hashed out. Like I said, it's still, for me, the guy that's, the best leader on the field, get us back to playing with that tempo, make good decisions with the football. But kudos to Zy. He came out there, he fought well, he showed some toughness out there. Had a big time play, one of our explosive plays to Rico Powers down the sideline. A great throw on that, but he got us up and down the field good. Did just what we asked him to do. But that's some things we'll work out this week as a staff, and make a decision going into this week.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Last question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good afternoon, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Coach TC, tough one to take on the chin. And one of my questions that I have, 2 quick questions. Do you think the team was just a little complacent after just coming out and just really having a great showing against South Carolina State?
I don't want to say so much as complacent. We felt like we had prepared our team, and they seemed focused and ready to go. It was just the deal with FAM was the better team that day. We had everything for our football team that could have went wrong out there on Sunday. but I don't want to make any excuses. Like I said, that falls on me as a head coach. I got to get this team ready to play. We preach physicality here, and we just didn't see it. Fam, they bullied us the entire football game. And like I told them in meetings today, the rest of the SWAC is going to see that. Either we're going to respond or it's going to continue that way. And I just know from what I saw week 1 to this next week, this game that we just previously had, it was a tale of two teams. And it's up to me to get this team to playing back on that level that we saw in week 1.
Well, in the second half, the defense really actually started stepping up. So can you take some positives from that going into the Southern game?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And not just the defense, I challenged them at the half because it could have really gotten out of really, really ugly. I was really pleased that our team didn't lay down and they came out and still competed. That's something I told them we can build on. But yeah, I was very pleased with the way the defense came out in the second half. Still was too many missed tackles, missed opportunities. They had the one explosive pass play that Jaheim, corner, did a great job of running that down, and we ended up blocking a kick on that. But they competed well in the second half. You look at it, I think we won the second half 10-0, and you take away a lot of those special teams mishaps. You never know what that football game looks like. But overall, again, we got to be better, going forward as a program.
Well, much success to you and guard the yard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right, look forward to it. Everybody be safe. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Tuesday, September 5th. We will process this Zoom recording and send it out via our email distribution list here as soon as it's done processing.